Okay, buddy, let's go through the script one more time. We need to improve our Tamil. Especially you, of course.
Gotcha.
Buddy, what are you doing?
Sorry, sir.
Could you please take this seriously for once?
Mother's promise, sir.
And you should probably make some notes too, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Okay, now focus. What the... I can't take it anymore. You will write down 100 words in Tamil for the next review.
What?
Out.
But Jimmy,
Out. Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage.
And I'm Deniz, the Buddymeister. Once again, we let our patrons decide which movie we should review next. This time it was all about modern Tamil cinema. The options were Naduvula Konjam Pakata Kanom, Onayum Atukutium, and of course Pariyerum Perumal, which, as you can see, won the poll.
Pariyerum Perumal was released in 2018. It was written and directed by Selvaraj, and it stars Kathir, Anandhi and Yogi Babu in the leading roles.
The story revolves around Pariyerum, also known as Pariyan, a youth hailing from Puliyankulam village near Tirunelveli. He belongs to an oppressed caste, but nonetheless gets a seat in a law college. There he befriends a classmate named Jyoti, who is called Joe, who belongs to a higher caste. And the men in her family start giving him trouble over this.
First, we have to highlight the movie's disclaimer that is shown right at the beginning of the opening credits. It says, caste and religion are against humanity. And it doesn't take long before this crushing injustice of the caste system shows its ugly teeth in the movie.
Pariyerum Perumal starts in a way that reminded me of Merku Todachi Malai. In fact, a pretty big chunk of it reminded me of that movie, mainly because of the vast desert and the rural setting that we are in. But of course, another movie that came to mind during the course of Pariyerum Perumal was Fundry, clearly because of the examination of caste injustices.
For me, it was also quite reminiscent of Sairat, another immensely powerful romantic drama that deals with the cruelty of the caste system. A topic that of course prevails, because it still exists today. And the Dalit caste, the so-called untouchables, which is also the caste to which the character Pariyan belongs to, is, as we know from Fundry, the lowest caste. These are the outcasts.
Pariyerum Perumal is set in 2005. The movie starts in this wonderful landscape. There are a few men at a small pond, they have their dogs by their side. As another group approaches, they leave, they feel unwell. Pariyan's dog Karupi cannot be found, and as he realizes what we as audience assume, it's already too late and Karupi gets hit by a train. Now, I didn't need to see the smashed body of the dog this explicitly, and I don't think it was necessary, but I'm of course aware of the severity of this tragic event.
I had no issue with that. The consequence of this cruel, inhumane act is shown in all of its unfiltered brutality, and the camera work and the acting of the characters felt so authentic to me that it didn't come across as cheap or manipulative. The motif of Pariyan's dog Karupi leads through the whole film. They did a terrific job with that.
Karupi was also the only black dog around, so the symbolism is already pretty strong. He is the movie's first victim of the idea that it's okay to look down on certain people or animals and treat them horribly.
And obviously the first song Karupi and Karupi is all about Pariyan's beloved dog. Right after that song, which contains Karupi's burial, we jump a bit forward in time and see Pariyan enrolling in the university. And for the first time the name of B.R. Ambedkar is dropped, which especially in hindsight is very important.
Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar was an Indian jurist, economist, politician and social reformer who campaigned against social discrimination towards the Dalits, the caste in which he himself was born into. He started periodicals, defended Dalits in court and launched active movements against their oppression. He had a deep impact on modern India, hence he's a role model for many young Indians, and so he is for Pariyan, who dreams of being the next Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar.
The color blue that is prominently displayed on many occasions in the movie plays into that as well. Not only was it Ambedkar's favorite color, it was also the color of the Scheduled Caste Federation's flag, the party that he founded in 1942 to campaign for the rights of the Dalit community. So we have very strong ideas and ideals floating above Pariyan's head and in this movie.
One very interesting aspect about Pariyerum Perumal is the way the story unfolds, because up to a certain point we kinda have two different narrative threads. On one hand we have Pariyan's journey, on the other hand, we have the journey of this strange and harrowing old man who kills people in the vilest of ways. It takes quite a while until we know what part he's going to play in all of this.
When we reach that point, we are already in the middle of something that seems inevitable, but also something that you expected and felt very early in the movie. But the story progresses slowly. We spend a lot of time in college with Pariyerum, Joe and Anand. And let me say it right here, Kathir is simply fantastic as Pariyerum. From the very beginning when he's lamenting the death of his dog to the very end when he's fighting for his own life. It's a powerhouse performance that will make you feel all the way for this character.
Pariyerum is a very tragic figure that exemplifies the inhumane ways we human beings are able to treat each other, and yet he becomes a real character also. The frustration, the anger, the desperation, but also the innocence, the love he gives, you can feel it in every scene.
Movies like this can fall in the trap of becoming too manipulative, too preachy, but Pariyerum Perumal doesn't, and I think Kathir's acting is one of the main reasons why. What he is able to convey with his eyes alone, especially in the second half of the movie when he's unable to tell Joe or even his best friend Anand why he is behaving the way he is.
It's so difficult to watch. Every time the higher caste people do something to him, you just want to get in there and help him. I feel so uneasy watching something like this. That shocking scene at the wedding when Joe's father takes him to this room and talks to him, and you just know that something's going to happen. Unbearable, but of course also a testament to the great work by the writer, director, editor and cinematographer.
The movie had me tear up several times. Without a doubt my favorite sequence, and honestly one of the best I have seen in a long time, is the song that comes after the intermission and after the scene that you just mentioned, where Pariyerum gets beaten up and humiliated by Joe's family without her knowledge, and he has to stop seeing her. When she walks out of that classroom, the spirit of his dog Karupi comes in slow motion, and then we get this heartbreaking song Nan Yar, with Pariyerum screaming at the top of his lungs, demanding an answer from the world out there and from us the audience, what he is. Is he just a dog to the others? An animal you could put down? Why isn't he treated like a normal human being?
Not that you should treat animals badly, absolutely not, but I get what you mean.
It's one of the most powerful song sequences I have ever seen. The way the music, images, lyrics and Kati's performance unfold is beautiful and devastating at the same time.
In general, the songs are great. I noticed something in the song Putakatil Puvasam. You can see how the environment surrounding Pariyerum and Joe gets more and more hostile. While they are enjoying their day, laughing and talking, people get beaten up right next to them. I guess Selvaraj wanted to show how much this caste issue has seeped into the daily lives of the people, how it's almost something normal that's not worth your attention.
Very good point, yes, and it's quite remarkable how that song is staged. You said it already, but on a technical level Pariyerum Perumal is also top notch. The camera work, the editing, the music, pretty impressive. The filmmakers know when the story calls for rapid editing and when it's better to show something in long and calm shots.
The movie takes time when it needs to. I want to go into some of the stuff that happens later, so I guess we have to make a mild spoiler warning at this point. If you haven't seen the movie, I think I can speak for both of us that we highly recommend it. Just be prepared that it might hit very hard. It's definitely not an easy watch.
But it's not just a message movie, but a really well-crafted, powerful human drama. But what is it you wanted to say?
I loved that sequence when Pariyerum visits his real father. This revelation that his father dons women clothing and likes to dance, and that he of course is very androgynous, is just wonderful. Then again, the way he gets treated later is heartbreaking and terrible.
Absolutely. I think what kept the whole movie from being even more impressive and greater in my mind is the way everything at college is presented. This aspect felt a bit artificial to me. Pariyerum Perumal has this wonderful, powerful symbolism, these strong images, and a vibe and flow that sometimes evokes this dreamlike or more nightmarish quality. But it's also a very realistic film that deals with very sensitive and important topics. And I felt some of the college scenes were a bit too much and not that real. And the way Pariyerum is treated either extremely harsh or very kind felt a bit too much for me.
I guess yes, but for me it was contained in a way that didn't affect everything else. The movie did not suffer from it. I had more problems distinguishing the bad guys from everybody else.
Yeah, I had no idea who they were and what they wanted at first, but that becomes more apparent with time, especially when things come full circle and Joe's family hires the old man to kill Pariyerum.
Oh yes, that old man is so uncomfortable. The way his movements are shot and how he looms in the background, waiting for his chance to get to Pariyerum. Terrifying. And when he says those terrible words, I murder for the honor of our women, it is my offering to God. Unbelievable.
Truly terrifying, yes. An instant, iconic movie villain, but one that you believe can really exist in real life as well. Without giving away the ending, the whole last act is really powerful and also nail-bitingly tense. If you have seen similar stories before, you are constantly prepared for the worst. Well, prepared is probably the wrong word, more like anxious and hoping so much that everything will somehow turn out good. And because of that and because of the great direction, there are several moments at the end where I was on the edge of my seat and an emotional wreck, wishing from the bottom of my heart that it would end well.
I think we should just stop here and let everybody who has not seen the movie yet go into it without knowing the outcome.
Just this, it's beautiful how they bring it back to the very beginning by incorporating his beloved dog Karupi.
Very nice. So, what would we say in German about Pariyerum Perumal?
Pariyerum Perumal ist ein eindrucksvoller, herausragend gespielter und unglaublich berührender Film, der die großen Ungerechtigkeiten des noch immer bestehenden Kastensystems mit aller Kraft aufzeigt. Unbedingt anschauen. I give Pariyerum Perumal 8 out of 10. It's more like 8.4, but I don't do that.
For me, it's also 8 out of 10. It's more like 8.2, but I don't do that either. Did you know that Mammootty played Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar in a movie of the same name that was released in the year 2000?
Didn't know that. Is it any good?
Apparently, yes.
Fine, I'll put it on our recommendation list. I think number 450.
Thanks.
You're welcome. What are your thoughts about Pariyerum Perumal? Leave a comment and hit me up on Twitter, Instagram and Letterboxd and now also on Patreon simply at the Jimmy Cage.
And you can hit me up on Twitter at the Buddymeister.
And as always, if you enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. And make sure you hit that bell for all we have to tell.